What is up, guys? Welcome back to another review. Today we have the Mezco Red Hood, which I'm super excited to unbox. And yeah, let's just get straight into the review. It came with this like little Mezco thingy that looks like something that I obviously know that it's not that, but I don't know what that is. I've never ordered from Mezco before, so I don't know what this is. Oh, what is this? What is this? Dude, what in the world is this? Okay, so obviously, like I said, I've never ordered from Mezco before. So I have no idea what this is, but this is definitely going on my display. And here's a look at the box. Here we got the front with the Jason masked. Then we got the same thing over here. On the side, we have the Red Hood. And on the back, we have more pictures of him with the jacket, of course, and the logo. Looking really nice. And yeah, and we got his logo over here, Red Hood, right? So let's get this bad boy unboxed. Oh, it doesn't want to come up. I'm gonna have to dig my finger in there because it's being weird. It always does this with the Mezco boxes, especially on this side. Yeah, always have an issue opening it on that side. But wow, he's finally here. And I know there's like a lot of discussion talking about like the Toyz remake version. So you see the magazines come out, he can put his weapon in the holster. You know, we always do the first impressions to get a closer look at the figure. First impressions of the figure. One thing that I'm not a fan of, just off rip, is like there's no black. If you look at the box, right? You can see the box. It has like that black eye line under the white. That's something that I wish the figure actually had, but here you don't really see it. It's just like the white and the red. No black underline. I do see some scratches on the mask. I'm assuming it's for the battle damage look, or probably not. The helmet does look pretty good. Yeah, it's like all around the down here, but yeah, the helmet looks pretty good. You know, my only complaint would be the eyes. I think they did a pretty good job in keeping the helmet, you know, slightly smaller this time around. The pants, really big fan of the pants. You know, obviously we're gonna get a lot of articulation out of those pants. I am worried about the fabric here breaking, of course, and you know, the Mezco ankles. But aside from those things, and also the terrible material they picked for the jacket, this jacket is definitely not gonna last, and you're just gonna have to replace it eventually. But for the most part, figure is looking pretty decent here. I like the gloves. Give you guys a look at the boots, the knee pads, and then yeah, the jacket. I really like the material they chose. I like the decal on the t-shirt. Really great job this time around. This is like a good way of making the vest rather than making it so armored so it doesn't hinder as much articulation. But yeah, let's get into the articulation actually, speaking of. And I want to see if I could take off the jacket so we can do articulation, but honestly, let's do articulation with the jacket because that's what makes the most sense. So we got the legs going up. Oof. Yeah, this is not. Wow. Okay. I'm trying to like get that leg up. It's actually struggling here with the leg. So it's almost 90 degrees, but not really. But you do get the double jointed knee, which bends almost all the way. Let's see what the ab crunch is like here. You can get a solid ab crunch here, but then it ends up just being restricted, so not that great. Not a great ab crunch, honestly. And even when you do bend the ab crunch, you get like this flappy thing right here. So I'd be mindful of that. You do have the double joint here, which actually do get some decent range even with the jacket on. And, you know, the butterfly. Honestly, like, yeah, this is like pretty hindered. So you're going up that far. Going back a pretty decent amount, actually. Side to side, pretty decent. Head range going down. Going up. Side to side. Pretty good range there. And T-pose. Pretty solid, right? I'm purposely doing the articulation with the jacket on because for the most part, it's with the jacket you're going to be posing him. And like obviously Mezco bodies have pretty decent articulation without the like soft goods on. So that's why I'm doing it with the soft goods on. splits, you're gonna go like that far. You do want to be careful again because of this fabric. You don't want to stretch it, go too far. You know, the ankles are very, very hindered, so you're going up that far, down this much, side to side, very, very limited as well. You can already hear it squeaking. I'm assuming he would have a bicep swivel. I can feel it in the jacket, but going back, pretty hindered by these soft goods. I wanted to show the butterfly joint. Can't even do that with a jacket on, of course, but again, this is purposely done for the sake of the review. I do like the accessories move and you can use them. Even like the knee pads move. So that's pretty cool. I do like that. Overall, it's a solid figure. I just think for $150 it's kind of overpriced. You know, you're paying $150 for the shipping and the tax, and that's how much it was for me. That's a little bit much. I do like the way it looks, and I do see that this figure will have some decent longevity outside of the jacket, but it's all right. So let's get into the accessories, right? Open hands, trigger pointer hands, closed fists with like a little open hand right there, and again, more open hands. You got the bullet effects, so some pretty solid accessories. Pretty limited pairs of hands here. 4 pairs of hands, not bad, pretty decent. I do like that we get firing effects, but still a solid amount of accessories for the most part. Comes with 2 handguns, red for the Red Hood. It doesn't come with the logo on these. Like, I thought they would come with the Red Hood logo on them. They don't. I don't know if it does in the comics have the logo on them, but I think it would have been cool if they actually had the logo on them. It does have magazines that do come out and you can swap in, and then you have the effect here. So some pretty decent looking accessories, pretty detailed for the most part, and not painted all black, which is nice. They actually have some colors on them. And then we have this Jason head sculpt. It's half unmasked, half masked. Yeah, this figure is very, very overpriced. I feel like we should have gotten an unmasked head sculpt as well. Unfortunately, we did not. But here is a look at the head sculpt, which looks really, really good, of course, with the Jason with the scar right here. You got the hair coming out. You see his eye. Then you have the mask with the details of the battle damage. You have the like a knife. Like, it looks like a knife penetrated the helmet down here. You got scratches all over the helmet. So pretty cool if you ask me. Again, for only 2 head sculpts though, a bit overpriced. $155. I understand shipping and tax and all that, but still, this figure was like what, 125, one something. So compared to that Nightwing that was 95, big difference for sure. This guy in fact does come with a bottom tray of accessories. I do really love and appreciate the Mezco stands, and we do get a Red Hood stand here. Pretty simple, pretty plain, you know, nothing too crazy. I wish they would have made it a little bit more saturated, similar to the logo on his chest. See a little bit more brighter red there, but it's pretty cool for the most part. The sniper rifle, 2 crowbars, magazine for the sniper rifle, and the knife. So decent accessories, like I said, all around. Pretty solid for the most part. You know what, let's get into a size comparison. I think that's what I'm most interested in. Let's see how he scales with other figures that are DC related. So here we have the Mezco Red Hood, and it's going to be compared to the Arkham Knight from Rebel Tech from the Arkham trilogy, the video games. So he is quite bigger. He's a little bit let's actually do a back-to-back here. And this is obviously in the Arkham Knight like form, not the Red Hood form, but I believe Arkham Knight is slightly taller than him just because of the helmet. Shoulder wise, Arkham Knight is also taller there too, so pretty interesting to see there. I think they look pretty nice next to each other. But let's get one more figure in here. Mafex Nightwing. Oops, I almost knocked him over. So he is significantly taller than the Nightwing, which I don't think, you know, scale wise is really an issue. You know, that he definitely does look a lot bigger than Nightwing. I think you can still make it work in a collection. You know, once they're both posed up, you don't really see the height if you get Nightwing in a dynamic pose, you can barely tell. But when they're standing next to each other, you can tell. That Mezco Red Hood looks a little bit whiter, if that makes sense. Looks a little bit whiter. I'm trying to like show you guys there, but there it is. Nightwing, Arkham Knight, Mezco Red Hood. Now I'm going to swap out the Nightwing for the Mafex Hush, Blue Hush. And again, I actually believe the Hush is a little bit taller than the Nightwing, or at least scales a little bit better with Jason. They both look great together, so don't get me wrong, I think they look solid together. Just different vibe here. You know, you got a more realistic flesh tone on the Mezco Red Hood. More realism, less comic looking. So different takes. And then you got like the anime styled version over here. So you see a lot of different figures. There is one more that I do want to compare it to, and it is actually a Mezco. Another Mezco figure. But here we have the Mezco Damian Wayne Robin next to the Mezco Red Hood. And here you can see they scale a little bit better. Nah, he's definitely taller, slightly taller. I think they look really good together. Again, they're kind of from like the same line. I still do think that this does have more of a comic look when compared to the Mezco Red Hood, but still both in soft goods, both looking pretty good there. So yeah, just wanted to show you guys different characters, different iterations, and that's your size comparison. Let's get into the final thoughts. All right, so for the final thoughts on this figure, I gotta say, for me personally, this is one of the Mezcos that you're gonna be able to mess around with without having to worry about, you know, things breaking, things flaking as much, except for the jacket. The jacket is something you could easily replace. You could easily just swap out and it'll still look good. I think I was expecting more articulation. I don't know if I wasn't really messing with him the right way, but the knee, like the legs did not go as high as I wanted to. And I understand, you know, the straps for the holsters, but I think this figure is overpriced. Super, 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 super overpriced. He does come with a great amount of accessories. I should say decent amount of accessories. I was expecting another head sculpt. I was expecting, you know, at least having his logo on his guns. Again, I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I feel like that would have been a nice touch, especially since Mezco always does, you know, their own take on characters. I think it's a decent figure. Do I think it's worth the price? No. Do I think you need him if you already have the Rebel Tech? No. Do I think that a Red Hood fan would enjoy this figure? Yes. If you're a diehard Mezco or Red Hood fan, I think you kind of, there's probably some feelings about it. You're like, I really like it. I really like the way it looks. I really want it, but do I need it? That's up to you. It's up to you. I think he's cool. I think he's a decent figure, but he does not, his value does not compare to his price at all. And I gotta say, I'm pretty disappointed in this figure. I was super excited for him. There was so much hype around him. And if you missed out on this figure and you didn't get it, don't feel too bad about it, especially if you already have a Red Hood. You know, I'm gonna give this figure like a 7. I'm gonna lean in the 7. I'm gonna be nice, and I'm gonna be nice there. Articulation is pretty limited, of course, because of the soft goods. Does have a decent amount of accessories, but still lacks in some parts. Like unmasked head sculpt is like a no-brainer for me, especially for a character like this. So, and it's different because, you know, like Nightwing has like a mask on his eyes, but like if you have a character with a helmet on, you kind of have to give him unmasked. And I know the Rebel Tech didn't give him unmasked, but I feel like this would have been the perfect opportunity to get an unmasked head sculpt for him, where you could see more of his face, not just a cracked face. I don't know, that's just me though. I know a lot of people have a similar complaint. Logo on the weapons for sure. Give it that Red Hood taste. I don't know, man. Let me know your thoughts. I know people were comparing the Mezco Red Hood to the Toyz remake, or whatever it is, that other third-party Red Hood, which looks pretty decent, but I still think that the appearance of this one looks a lot better in my opinion. I really do like the way that this Red Hood looks. Again, I do have that complaint for the eyes. I wish I did have the black around the white eyelids or eye things, whatever you want to call them. I like it. I like it. It gives me like a biker Red Hood look. I do think it's a okay figure. Do I think it's deserving of the hype? I don't think so. I think it's lacking for sure. But that's my final thoughts. I wish I had more to say, but all I can say is that he leaves so much more to be desired for. It's not a complete failure, but lacking. Flawed like every figure. Every figure has its flaws, and I think these are the flaws of this figure, especially for that price point. I'm going to keep bringing it up because it was a very, very expensive figure for it not being an import, because it is Mezco. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, I want to hear your thoughts about this figure. Do you think that you will like it if you haven't gotten it yet? Do you like it if you do have it? Do you feel like you missed out and you wish you would have gotten him? Or do you feel like, this figure's a letdown and you're okay with passing on him? I really want to hear what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace out.